Guten Tag, man. How are you doing? How was the concerts in December?
Great. We had two shows three shows. One in Dresden and one in Berlin, and another one in Augsburg. And all of them went quite well. I'm pretty happy with the shows. Full houses, kind of. Not sold out, but many people showed up. Good fun.
All right. Yeah, it's been a while. I wanted to have you guys here on Music Bomb. I'm glad we made it.
So happy you invited us. Thanks for asking.
First of all, I'll ask you to introduce yourself and the other members of the band and talk a bit about Kaskadeur and how it was founded.
Yeah, my name is Enrico. I'm the guitarist and singer of the band Kaskadeur, and there are three other members. My good friends, Johannes Valenta, he's playing the keys, and Ole Fischer is playing the drums, and Micha Paugner is playing the bass. Yeah, we're writing songs for I think about 15 years now. We started as a band called Stonehenge and decided to change our name in 2020. And that's the point where we started to work with our label in Berlin, Neusolution, who has been a trusty partner since then.
Is there any reason for switching the name?
Well, first of all, it was kind of hard to find in the internet when you're called
Oh yeah.
like that, the thing, you know, that made it a little hard to be found on the internet. So we decided to change the name, and above that, we maybe you might have interpreted the name or connected it with stoner rock,
Probably.
which we probably came from. But if you wouldn't know stoner rock, you might have thought we are doing, I don't know, some kind of medieval music or stuff like that. And I don't know, musically we changed a bit at that point, and we didn't felt too good with the old name, so Kaskadeur was the new fitting one.
I like to say that I love the way you guys sound. I do see you guys make a lot of efforts to not sound as all the other bands, seeing the melodies, the arrangements, the tempo. See a lot of jazz in it as well. How do you define the kind of music you do and which kind of influences you bring into your songs?
Mm, I th- I guess it's all the influences from all the people in the band, and they're quite different. Ole is tending to listen to a lot of hip hop and jazz, especially back in 2020. And yeah, he's a quite eager drummer, always up for evolving his play.
It's very good,
And
very good.
yeah, that's true. Well, we're lucky with him. And Johannes is he's more open to more let's say pop music, not really the classic pop music you might listen to in the radio nowadays, but not too heavy stuff. I mean, he's listening to stuff like that as well, because we met up listening to all to such stuff. But I think him and I we are more interested in getting the music more intuitive and not too technical, even though it's still we're putting in a lot of effort to, as you said, to have a sound that differs from different from other bands, but we're still looking for a kind of hook for every song, so it's more easy to get into for the recipient. Micha is more coming from classic punk rock stuff. He's a big The Cure fan, and I don't know. This all adds up to what what it sounds like now.
You guys have recently released your second album, Phantom Vibrations. Could you talk a bit about how was writing and recording this material?
hmm After we released the first album under the new name in 2020, we pretty much started writing the next one because usually it takes a little longer with us to write songs or get an album together because yeah, we're just working a lot on the songs before we decide to record them. It was yeah the same thing with Phantom Vibrations. I think after Uncanny Valley, the album before that, we were, as I said, more into getting the songs a little bit less difficult or less hard to listen to. I mean, we're still, um, as you said, we're still fishing in the regions of jazz and prog music. It's still that, but we were more focused on yeah creating a distinguished feeling or emotion with the song, not getting too technically with it. And yeah, we had a funding for the whole production, and we were lucky to record it in the Candy Bomber Studios in Berlin, which is quite a known studio in which Ingo Krause is working and being the engineer, and he is known for working at the Conny Plank studios as well. We were lucky to record the album over there. And with the funding we got, we kind of got into, we had a little pressure to get the everything done in time so the money won't be wasted. That changed the way we were writing the songs a bit. Most of the songs was written when we entered the studio, but a few things we just wrote in the studio during the time in there, such as some of the vocals, especially. Yeah, that changed the way how we worked with the songs in a good way. Yeah, that's pretty much how we worked on that album this time. A little bit different, more focused on the emotion.
I saw that he got a little less progressive. I mean, there is still a couple of good progressive tracks on that one, but you can see that it's a lot different from the first one. The first one's quite crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loud and hefty, kind of. Yeah.
All right, and I've picked three of my favorite songs from Kaskadeur, and I would like to dive a bit into them.
Hmm.
And first one, my favorite one, Part of Your DNA. Found out about you guys through the Doom charts back in the day. And this song specifically just blew my mind. Could you talk a bit about it and the meaning behind the lyrics?
This is from the album before, from Uncanny Valley. The whole idea of Uncanny Valley was our perception of how the world was changing to a place where people could just spread fake news about things. And, this was the time when Trump in the US started to spread wrong news about stuff as he is still doing today, where AI came up more openly in people's life. That kind of, and still does, worries us in different ways. And so we were eager to have an album where we speak about those worries and also have a empowerment factor with the songs. And that's where Part of Your DNA is talking about, with the example of the concept of polyamory, because me specifically saw some parallels to that. If you're interested in new people and you don't feel quite confident to get in touch because there are so many things to be conscious about, not only in a feminist way of thinking to reflect your behaviors as a hetero man, and what the stuff you're doing and saying is doing with people, especially like non-binary person or flinter person. And this song is pretty much looking at this topic and trying to give people the courage to see yourself as someone who's open-minded and doesn't have to keep himself small because you don't trust in yourself and your worthiness for love. Let's put it this way. So just getting yourself open-minded and just trust in your love worthiness and get in touch with people and don't be afraid about it.
That's very deep. Thanks. From the last album, the single Generation Absolute, great song, great video. I do believe it talk about algorithms. Could you talk a bit about it and also about how was producing the video?
Oh yeah, sure. Actually, it's interesting how you read out of it like it's topics about algorithms. Well, in the end, generally, I think after releasing songs, it's most part of how you receive it is part of the people who listen to the music. So it's not. I'm not too eager to send a fixed message with a song as long as people can relate to it and get their own reception of it. I'm totally fine with that. Like giving it out of our hands. It's it's made for the people, and we are just always with them with the songs, and how they're received is another thing. And yeah, as long as it resonates, that's cool for me. But to the video, so we were lucky to find some young students and people who were up for new projects, especially music videos, and we got in touch with David. I should check his surname to be correct with this, but I can tell you right now. He's an cameraman and has a doing this project, and we agreed on spending the money on some equipment to have a high quality video, and they mostly did that for us voluntarily. So we were still really thankful for that. We were at a place in Potsdam, which is called the Archiv. It's a former occupied building in the city, which is still a place for a venue for concerts and where people live. Yeah, they had the rooms in the making, and we just used basically the construction grounds for our set and made this whole kind of gallery setting, which you see in the video. Yeah, I'm in the end, I'm just really looking back at it. I'm really impressed how professional all the people working with us were at the set, and we had people taking care of the costumes and the color theme of the whole video, and this all worked pretty good together. And yeah, a lot of friends came up to be in front of the camera, playing the people in the gallery. And yeah, it was just really a big effort and worth it, I could say.
Last one, I picked a very old one back from the Stonehenge time called Concrete Krieger. It's a very powerful instrumental piece. Could you talk about this one a bit?
Yeah, that was pretty much one of the first songs we ever wrote. Actually, I remember this one being written shortly before we started to record the whole album. We just knew we were missing one song to have it, a full-length album. And this was written pretty much, I don't know, maybe in two rehearsals or so. We really just needed another song, and at that time we were really into the whole stoner rock thing. That's why that's pretty much one of the heaviest songs we might have. And the writing process was really from the out of the guts, really didn't took us long. Yeah, in the end, one of the songs that was most requested when we toured with the album, and still is sometimes, because for some reason this album reached some interest internationally. So we had a few blogs and influencers or YouTubers that came across the album and got in touch with us. Based on that, we were really lucky to tour through France 2 times because people knew us from this album after we released already two more or three even, and they still remembered us from the first album. I guess that's if bands are touring for centuries, people still scream for the first album. Yeah, first one was the best one, and Maybe that's part of it.
It's very nostalgic and people are attached to classic stuff, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I feel it too with some bands, but for the artist, sometimes it can be a little frustrating, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure. But at least they remember you and they like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's true.
To end this interview, we'd like to know what's next for Kaskadeur and what are the plans for the future.
Well, we are in the making for the new songs. We're working on the next album. We're booking our shows for 2025. We're in contact with a few festivals, and I'm hoping it turns out we're playing there. Let's see. It's not really a thing that's getting easier nowadays to book your own shows. So yeah, actually, we're looking for more shows. That's one of the focuses, and as long as we don't play shows, we're writing songs. Nothing fancy, just daily band business, you could say. We're trying to write new songs. That's the plan.
Enrico, that was a pleasure having you
Thank
here.
you. Likewise.
Would you like to send a last message to people that will be listening to this interview on Mr. Doom community?
Um, Good question. I don't know. The world seems to get scary every day, and I just send calmness and love out to everyone to find their way through this depressing time sometimes, and hopefully don't give up protesting against it, and yeah, keeping up hopes.
Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
Sure.